I will call this meeting to order. This is the City of Rancho Mirage City Council, the Library and Observatory Board, the Housing Authority Board, and the City Council representing the Redevelopment Successor Agency. This is our regular meeting for Thursday, September the 19th, 2024, and it is 1:01 p.m. We will begin with a flag salute, and I will ask Council Member Michael O'Keefe to please lead us in the flag salute today.
Join me in saluting our flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, Michael. And would the city clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Mulatto,
Present.
Councilmember Marker,
Here.
Councilmember O'Keefe,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Weil,
Here.
Mayor Downs.
I am here. All right, the first item on our agenda today is a presentation from the Jocelyn Center, and to bring us up to date on what's happening in the Jocelyn Center is Executive Director Dr. Jay Seller. Jay, you're up. Thank you for being with us today.
Mr. O'Keefe, are you going to run the video?
Should we do it first?
Sure, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Really great.
We're going to do a
I
video.
apologize. It is I'm out of line here.
No,
It's
you're,
the case that Michael O'Keefe asked me to allow him to do the introduction, and there I go.
it's okay.
I apologize.
No, we're good. We have a great video, and then I'll make a few comments, and then I'll officially introduce Jay Sellers. So let's run the video.
That we're doing something meaningful every day for the seniors in our community. So this is one of our groups playing canasta here in the morning.
Feels nice to know that you have friends, and I have a whole lot of family, but they're all up in Utah, so this is my family here.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Seller. I'm the Executive Director here at the Jocelyn Center. Jocelyn Center is an activity center for seniors 50 plus. We provide everything from a quilt club, a watercolor painting, we have a writing club, we have pickleball, indoor pickleball court, we have a theater, which have a cabaret on the weekends and movies during the week, and then mindfulness training, a wellness center provides free counseling, just unbelievable resources.
It's a place where people care, and you're not alone. It's a real caring place.
We're at 73750 Catalina Way, and we've been here since 1981 and served the cities of Rancho Mirage, Indian Wells, and Palm Desert. We are open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock daily. The finances and how we operate, there's a membership fee, and it's $30 for a year. We do receive funding from the cities. We also receive funding through a lot of grants that we work with. The City of Rancho Mirage is a really important member of the Cove Commission, and the Cove Commission is those three cities, and they're very active in supporting what we do. You want to find out more about our services? Stop by, drop in, we'll show you around, we'll give you a tour. You can also go to our website, jocelyncenter.org.
We welcome everybody and anyone, and the doors are open, and we just want to promote it.
Moving forward, we're looking forward to trying to build some outdoor pickleball courts, and then we're always changing our programs, we're always adding new things. Hopefully you can be a part of that.
So we were going to do this afterwards, but I will just say that we have a great asset to our community, which is the Jocelyn Center. And if anybody in the room is over 50, there might be a few of us, it is the official senior center for the city of Rancho Mirage, and it's something we can be very proud of. I think there's more than 2,400 clients. You have 80 some odd programs throughout the year. I mean, it is really a wonderful organization. And I was privileged to serve on the executive search committee when the executive director, Jack Newby, who had served many years, retired last year. And we met some highly qualified folks, but we were lucky when Jay Seller showed up. He has impeccable credentials in the nonprofit world, in the healthcare industry. He has a very positive and dynamic approach to management, and he has injected some really great energy over at the Jocelyn Center. I've heard nothing but good news since you've been there. So I thought it would be great for all of you to know what's coming up the next season, and that's why we have invited Dr. Seller here today. Jay, take it away.
Okay, So I know what you're thinking. Yes, the camera does add about 10 years to my life. So I really would like to thank, first off, right ahead of time is Kai Beach, who was the videographer for that event, and Michael O'Keefe for connecting us, and then Gabe Coding for the director of marketing at Rancho Mirage for bringing all of this together to make that video possible. They made 3 videos for us. It's just great. It's an honor to be here to speak to you. The Rancho Mirage Senior Center, also known as the Joslyn Center, is a proud member of the Cove Community Association, which serves Indian Wells, Palm Desert, and my hometown, Rancho Mirage. So since its establishment in 1981, I'm going to sound a little bit redundant from the video, so act like it's fresh, okay? The Joslyn Center has been a cornerstone of the senior community, providing services and activities to thousands of residents. We offer over 80 diverse programs designed for Rancho Mirage 50-plus community, and we keep them actively engaged. We have around 5,500 visits every year at the center, and we're excited about the growing community of seniors here in Rancho Mirage. In case you didn't know, every 8 minutes, somebody turns 65 years old, and we feel like that's a significant opportunity for us to grow. So we're going to expand on that element and keep going forward. Some of the programs we offer, you saw in the video, was indoor pickleball. We're looking to add 3 outdoor pickleball courts. We'd love your support on that. Not the council, the residents. Morning stretching, Go for Life, I can't even say the word. I can't even say it. Never mind. It's an exercise class that takes place every morning. Aerobic activity, that's what it is. We offer knitting, crocheting, quilting, watercolor, jewelry making. We even have weekly classical movies. Just yesterday we showed Bus Stop with Marilyn Monroe. On Sunday evenings, the Newman Theater has a cabaret. Everybody's welcome to come join us. We have table tennis, table games, canasta, Scrabble. You can name a game, we've got it. We also do lunch and learns. That's topics of health and wellness for seniors, and we co-do that with the Jewish Family Services, our sponsor for that. We have health fairs twice a year, which provides vaccinations and flu shots. I'm a little bit tender. Yesterday, Desert Oasis Healthcare was there, gave me 2 shots, and Eisenhower Healthcare also provides that. And we also have this hidden little corner of the center called Nancy's Salon, which offers low-cut or free haircuts and styling and facials. So it's just a great benefit that's there for you. But there's more. There's the Joslyn Wellness Center. We have free one-on-one counseling sessions. So as a senior adult, if you have an issue, you have lost a loved one possibly grieving that moment, we have counseling available for you for free. And it's both bilingual counseling in English or Spanish. Our group counseling sessions, we are available. And then we have support groups. We have depression, loneliness, prostate cancer, you name it, we've got it. We have a wellness center that also has classes too at the wellness center. So we have aging mastery, brain boot camp, which I might need to take that one, mindfulness training, and the matter of balance. Pronounce my words here. We also address food insecurity. And believe it or not, there's a lot of food insecurity going around. We have Meals on Wheels program where we deliver between 55 and 65 meals a day. And on Fridays, we deliver 3 meals so that they have frozen meals they can heat up over the weekend and not go hungry. We have Penny's Pantry every Friday morning. It's like a grocery store experience. They come in with a shopping cart, they fill up the cart, whatever groceries they need for the week, and it's free for them. And then we have a Friendly Callers program, which is really a really unique program that's really dear to my heart. We call between 55 and 65 homebound seniors every week just to check on them, just to have a conversation. So here's the best part about the Rancho Mirage Senior Center, also known as the Joslyn Center. We are the largest senior center in the Valley, and it's only $30 a year for membership. So that's right, that's the best deal in the desert. So I would really encourage you, if you haven't, come and take a visit with us, to come and discover how the Rancho Mirage Senior Center can really change your life here in the city. Thank you so much, councilmen, for your time.
Thank you, Jay. And Michael, you began your comments by talking about people over 50. I'm obviously over 50 because I forgot your request to do the introduction for Jay Seller today.
There's a program for you at the Joslyn.
All right, thank you, Dr. Seller. Appreciate your being with us today.
Mayor,
All right,
can I make one comment?
Please do.
That I have friends that use the Jocelyn Center regularly, and they just cannot say enough good things about it. They have made lifelong acquaintances. They play pickleball. They play bridge. They go there to get their hair cuts. It is fantastic. And so what Rancho Mirage does for the seniors at the Jocelyn Center, frankly, along with what we do at the library, is just remarkable. So again, Dr. Sellers, thank you very much for being here. And Jocelyn Center does just an incredible job. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. All right, it is now time for non-agenda public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak for up to 3 minutes on any issue that is important to you. If you do wish to speak to an agenda topic, please wait until I call that agenda item. Please be mindful of the 3 minutes, and please forgive me if you do exceed the 3-minute limit, and I ask you to conclude your comments. And I'll ask the city clerk to please handle non-agenda public comment today.
Thank you. The first speaker is Susan Ragsdale.
Good afternoon, City Council. I want you to know it's terrifying for me to come up here and plead for help. And I've had to do it a lot of times. I brought this, congratulations, Mr. Colin Kirkpatrick, for your assignment here with the City of Rancho Mirage. I prepared the legal papers for you regarding my case. The last presentation was made for the City Council itself. That's why I had some duplicates, because I thought perhaps they would be sitting around a table and just kind of breezing through the binders. I'll give this to Christy. It's very organized, at least for my standards. Other than that, I created a brand new binder, brand new. I tried to make it so that it's legal stuff, so I tried to make it not boring. I put Steve Bedrosian here in the cover because, honestly, this position of this man and what he's saying to me represents the utter brutal trauma that I have been subjected to and victimized in for 5.5 years, supported by the property manager, Mrs. Sonia Cabrera. This is it, baby. Forgive me if I seem strange. I have a whole bunch of emails I had not included in the last one to Marcus Aleman. If I had not been able to express myself to him, I would have literally died from traumatic stress living in my car in the summertime. This is a picture of my dog living in our car in February. I did a really big, I put some graffiti on here. I'm just kidding. I don't use bad words. This is about Manny Bustamante was the absolute worst judge on the planet for my case. He acted like I was one of his students at Cal State Palm Desert in his criminal law class, and he was like challenging me because I said I was pro per. And it was, I already had been abused for 3 years and 9 months altogether, and I was being victimized by the property manager. Anyway, here it is. I beg of you, I'm not doing well at all, and I need to go to Minneapolis to see my daughter. I have not seen my daughter and my granddaughter for 3 years. If I do not get restored to what is rightfully mine, I will have to sell all my things and go to a yoga ashram in Virginia where I did a 4-month work exchange 10 years ago. So I don't really want to do that. I'm 72, I'm not up to it, and I'm also extremely weak in the legs now. I'm not well. You know what it feels like. It's terrifying. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Susan.
The next speaker is Francis Miller.
Hello, my name is Frances Miller, and I live around the corner, and I want to thank Dr. Stella for the wonderful program. I am a recipient of the services at Joslin Center, so thank you. So I live around the corner, and there was a bad rain last September. I think it was called Hillary. And so I wrote an email to Mayor Downs asking him to meet me for lunch at the Wolfson Park. And I said, oh, no, you can't meet me. There's no walkway. That's my problem. There is no walkway between 111 and Duval. That's right across the street. So when I have my kids visit me, and one of them likes to walk from Duval, Frank Sinatra to 111 to the Atrium to Duke's, they can't do that. And none of you can go to the park for lunch either. We have a beautiful new park. Anyway, we don't have a bridge, and I was told by the mayor we're not going to get a bridge. I lived there 24 years. I think it's time for the bridge to come again, Mayor. So there's no bridge, there's no walking, and my third complaint is cell service. I just had to switch from T-Mobile for one of my two phones to Spectrum because T-Mobile doesn't work. My husband, when he was alive, was in the ER, and when I left the ER, my husband wasn't there anymore. They took him to the hospital before he died, and they didn't know that I was there because when I finally got to the right place when they found him, my phone wasn't working. And my daughter called me when I got to the main building at Eisenhower, and a doctor was the third person on our phone call, and he said to me, you hung up on me, he said. And I said, I didn't hang up on you, I didn't get any calls. So T-Mobile has told me that Rancho Mirage City is not allowing them to have a cell tower. So that's what I'm asking you for. At minimum, I'm now okay with the new cell phone service, Spectrum, but I'm not okay without a walkway on Frank Sinatra. I would like to have a walkway. It's very simple. There's just one spot. You can walk on the dirt, but there's one spot where you have to use a ladder to get up. Thank you.
Thank you, Frances. Now, we generally don't engage in back and forth conversations with those who make non-agenda public comments, but we do have the ability to provide factual information to people who do make comments. Frances, I believe that you did send me an email a few days ago. And did you hear from Ryan Stendell, who's not with us today, to bring you up to speed on the bridge? I'll leave it at that then. And then with respect to the cell towers, I'll ask Michael O'Keefe to comment on that.
You know, it's been a pet project of mine about cell phone reception as someone who, if I want to send a text out with a picture from my home, I have to go stand in the front yard. So I understand your frustration, and so does everybody up here. Last month, we voted unanimously to develop a wireless master plan for the city. It's underway right now because there are many spots that we have strengths, a lot that we don't. We have spotty services. I don't have to tell all of you, but the technology has changed. So by the end of this study, which will, I think, conclude in December, just be patient, but eventually we're going to have more service, better service, and I hope complete cell service in the city of Rancho Mirage. And if you come to next month's city council meeting, I'm going to have an update for you about the wash at Frank Sinatra. So thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Frances.
The next speaker is David Scott.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. I'm David Scott. I'm the CEO and owner of the iconic round building in Rancho Mirage, Decorators Depot and David E. Scott Design Builders. We brought this building back to life. It sat for so many years, and it was in disrepair, and it was like kind of a white elephant. Megan, I want to thank you so much for keeping your campaign promises to allow me to come in and talk about creating a design district for the city of Rancho Mirage. I think it's a very positive impact for the city economically. If you look at about a 3-mile corridor from Mirage Road to Painter's Path, multiple different businesses. Ferguson's, Perch was there. We have Lamps Plus. We now have Rapora there. So I'd like to see if the City Council would do an economic impact study on this area to see if we can designate this for the city of Rancho Mirage to have a design district. No one in the valley has this at all. I think this is a very positive thing for the city of Rancho Mirage. I've been in business for over 30 years in Rancho Mirage. My residency is in Rancho Mirage. I love this city. I love what everybody is doing for the city of Rancho Mirage, and I'm very proud that we brought this building back to life. It used to be Noel Burns Interior Design back in 1974. Stephen DeChristopher partnered with him in 75 and 76. And then it went to a hodgepodge of multiple different varieties of business and working with city planning and building and safety to keep some of the iconic features of this building. I really think it's in the best interest for the city of Rancho Mirage to designate an area to bring in more businesses, to bring in this impact so that people can come down and enjoy this area and see this iconic building. And we have that great architectural structure that's within this entire valley. And I have been a resident for 53 years here in the valley. So I've put together a very small package to give you guys some ideas. And I would like to see if you can put this on your table, look at it, and see what the city can do to bring life to that area. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you again, Ms. Marker.
Brad Anderson.
Good afternoon. My name is Brad Anderson. I currently live within the city. I wanted to talk about a few items today. Just one, I noticed that on this week's agenda, I noticed that you have assistant city manager now. I didn't know that. I missed the last two meetings, but I just found that interesting. So anyway, I worry about that, the growing aspect of that and the city manager's responsibilities already. But I wanted to just talk about the last meeting, I believe, the last meeting I attended, you passed a resolution for background checks on appointees and volunteers. Anybody that volunteers for the city, you apparently have to go through a Department of Justice background check, which means fingerprinting and so forth. And yesterday, one of the subcommittee meetings yesterday at the library, I got a little more information on that than I was privy to before concerning really it's an FBI type investigation report that you're going to conduct on any resident that wants to volunteer or seek appointment to any subcommittee that you have through the city. I'm not a fan of that. There are background checks that don't. I think it's going to disfranchise a lot of people from actually even applying. Because of the intrusive nature of it. And I fear for the process of that being only the city manager that would have the authority to review those background checks and determine if people are eligible or not. So I think due process for the people that may not, that may have issues, maybe no fault of their own. So anyway, it's just something I'm concerned about. And another aspect of yesterday's meeting, and I've spoke about this before, where the city is purchasing or buying meals, lunches, snacks, and so forth on an ongoing basis for years and years and years. Even at the closed session meetings, I believe you have a little snack tray. I think the city reimburses you enough that you don't have to take that type of a benefit from everybody that pays taxes within the city. So I would like to see that maybe stop, or maybe just not do it if you're offered it. And I think that would go a long way for ethics. And I got to read the minutes of the last meeting, and I was concerned about the Coachella Valley Water District taking a hit from the city mayor. I'm a firm believer that organization benefits the whole valley, whole region, and I don't think we should really throw darts around. So anyway, I'll leave it at that, and thank you very much.
That was the last speaker card. Is there anyone else in the audience who would, okay, please step up to the podium and state your name.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm Mark Curran, and I also serve as a commissioner on the Planning Committee. And I just wanted to bring up the economic development position that I think was discussed last meeting, but I didn't see it on the agenda. And I just wanted to follow up with my comments the last time that I've worked with those positions in commercial real estate across the country. And it's always been very productive for the community and my asset as well, and sharing leads back and forth and keeping an eye on. I mean, it'd be great if we could fill empty spaces and they stay filled for very long terms, but that just doesn't happen anymore. So I just want to continue to support the city taking a look at that position and really taking a look at what it can do for us and help, you know, our business community, because once they thrive, we all thrive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, please step up and state your name.
Hello, I'm Gregory Goodman, resident and also own my little flower shop in Palm Springs. Mark, I have a lot of the same ideas. At the last council meeting, Councilmember Meg Marker referenced the need for an economic development study, which should not have been really necessary for her to even bring up. If our city had a dedicated economic development director, they would have been on top of this from the very start. Rancho Mirage is the only city in the Coachella Valley without a dedicated economic development director, with the exception of Indian Wells for obvious reasons. As Rancho Mirage eliminated this position approximately 5 years ago, companies have left Rancho Mirage or sat vacant for a long time, like Amazon Fresh, Babes, Roy's, Blonde, Aqua Plaza Bistro, Alta, Laurent, Carnival, which was Cask and Cleaver, Lord Fletcher's, Borders Books. That's just a few of them. The city of Rancho Mirage needs to hone in on it. The Chamber of Commerce serves its purpose and does an incredible and excellent job supporting grand openings or existing businesses. But it does not replace the need for having a dedicated economic development director on staff, nor should it. This is a position that is curated, a craft that is honed, an essential component to our community and our economy. That said, I'd like both for the record and to request that the city clerk add to our next agenda for discussion hiring an economic development director and earmarking funds for our recent documented savings of over $600,000 annually from releasing 6 employees in July to support this position. Thank you. Gregory Goodman.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? That was the last speaker.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, we will now move on to council board member comments. And today I will move from my left to my right. So I will begin with Council Member O'Keefe.
May you come back to me after other comments?
Okay, Council Member Marker.
I was at the grand opening this past week for Foxy's Restaurant, and I'd like to congratulate them as our Chamber of Commerce held a wild, successful ribbon cutting for this new restaurant down the street. Owners Tim and Terry Fox, they are devoted philanthropists supporting charities that embrace our veterans and St. Jude's, just to name a few. Welcome to Rancho Mirage.
Thank you, Councilmember Marker. Mayor Pro Tem Weil.
Thank you, Mayor. Most of you know by now how passionate I am about our first responders. I'm a big fan of the Coffee with a Cop events, and any time the community can rally around those who protect and serve us. The last council meeting, our community service officer, Kyle Albanucius, announced National Night Out happening at our Rancho Mirage Community Park on October 1 from 5:30 to 8:30. That event is less than 2 weeks away. This is shaping up to be a very exciting event and fun for the whole family. I hope you will make plans to join me as we meet local law enforcement heroes, including the SWAT team, search and rescue, the aviation unit, K-9 officers, and Bob Squad, as well as our brave CAL FIRE firefighters and community leaders. The family will love the bounce houses, face painting, the free popcorn, cotton candy, snow cones, and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Frankly, so will I. Food trucks like House of Pokey will serve up delicious treats, and DJ Alpha will keep the energy high with music and entertainment. This is a great opportunity to enjoy the cooler weather, which we've all waited for, and connect as a community with those brave and dedicated men and women who work hard to keep us safe and respond in emergencies. I hope to see you there. It'll be a great event. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Ted. Council Member Mulatto.
No comments at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and I am going to forego my comments today as well. So, Michael O'Keefe, back to you.
No comments today.
Well, that makes it easy. All right, city manager comments, and after you make your comments, please go right into the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No city manager comments today. On the consent calendar, the
Isaiah,
What?
apologize. Before we go to consent calendar, I just wanted to note that Councilmember Marker will be recusing herself from item number 6, the approved demands, with respect to Eisenhower and Desert Publications, as her business does business with those businesses. So due to a potential conflict of interest, she'll be recusing herself.
Great. And she does not have to leave, right?
Correct.
Thank you. So the City Council has 6 items on the consent calendar for consideration. Item number 1 is to approve the September 5th, 2024 regular meeting minutes. Item number 2 is to adopt resolution number 2024, next in order, implementing the Coachella Valley Association of Governments, CVAG, inflation adjustment for the Transportation Unified Mitigation Fee, known as TUMF, for the calendar year 2025. Item number 3 is to adopt resolution number 2024, next in order, adopting a local hazard mitigation plan. Item number 4 is to reject all bids received related to CP 21371, the Rancho Mirage Community Park Amphitheater Improvement Project. Item number 5 are to approve contracts, and item number 6 are to approve the demands. Before we go to council comments or questions, if the city clerk would take public comment on the consent calendar.
I received 1 speaker card from Brad Anderson.
Thank you. Brad Anderson, City of Rancho Mirage. I wanted to speak on this one topic. I think it's great that you rejected it. I believe it was $9 million. That was the one bid that came in for those improvements at the amphitheater. I am concerned because I believe programming was delayed or not recommended for certain periods of time. So I don't know if you're going to recoup any type of loss that may come from that, but I'm grateful that you were prudent with the resources that the city of Rancho Mirage allowed you to use. Thank you.
That was the only speaker card. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the consent calendar? That was the only speaker.
Okay, thank you, Christy. Do I have any council member comments on the consent calendar? If I do not, I will entertain a motion. Is it item 6 that we need to exempt? So I'll ask for a motion to approve consent calendar items number 1 through 5.
I'll move, Mayor, that we approve consent calendar items 1 through 5.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we will now move on to consent calendar item number 6, on which Councilmember Marker is recused. May I have a motion to approve item number 6 on the consent calendar?
And I'll make a motion to approve item 6 on the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Marker recused.
Okay, we now go to the action calendar, and the first item on the action calendar is item number 7 on our agenda. The subject of item number 7 is City Council Conflict of Interest Policy. The staff report, it lists both Isaiah Hagerman, City Manager, and Colin Kirkpatrick, City Attorney, so I'll let the two of you figure out who's going to speak first.
Colin's going first.
I'll start first. Thank you, Mayor. Just to set sort of a foundation for the policy, as many of you all know sitting up here on council and some of you in the audience as well, as you've sat through your mandatory ethics training, the City Council and public officials are generally subject to numerous laws regulating ethical conduct that include Political Reform Act, AB 1234, Government Code 1090, the Levine Act, as well as common law, Attorney General opinions, and FPPC opinions as well. Generally, those regulate the City Council members' conflicts of interest, as well as, in some instances, it affects also whether the city can take certain action, and that's specifically with respect to Government Code 1090. As stated in FPPC, as well as League of California publications, conflict of interest laws are generally only the minimum standards to which public officials are required to comply. This is pulling from the staff report, but just as a reminder, as stated here from the League of California's publication, the 2022 publication called A Guide for Local Agency Counsel, providing conflict of interest advice, is an accepted tenet of our democratic tradition that while public officials wield the power of local government, they must only do so as stewards of public resources and holders of public trust. For this reason, public officials are held to high standards of ethical conduct. This body of public ethics law rests on two basic principles articulated in the Political Reform Act, that 1, government officials serve all citizens equally without regard to status or wealth, and 2, those officials should perform their duties without bias or personal gain. Also, with respect to Government Code 1090, and that's the provision which, if a council member has a disqualifying conflict of interest, the city may be prohibited from entering into certain contracts where there's a disqualifying conflict of interest. And the Fair Political Practices Commission, which is essentially the regulatory authority over Government Code 1090 specifically, has a guide which summarizes Government Code 1090's purpose, which has been summarized by various courts to make certain that the truism that a person cannot serve two masters simultaneously, no public official shall be financially interested in any contract made by that person or by any body or board which he or she is a member. Every public office be guided solely by the public interest rather than by personal interest when dealing with contracts in official capacity. And the statute not only strikes at situations that do not involve actual fraud and dishonesty, but also at those in which the possibility exists or for personal influence of an interested office to be brought to bear, either directly or indirectly, on an official decision. FPPC guide goes on to say that 1090, Government Code Section 1090, codifies the longstanding common law rule that barred public officials from being personally financially interested in the contracts they formed in their official capacities. The prohibition is designed to apply to any situation that would prevent the official involved from exercising absolute loyalty and undivided allegiance to the best interest of the public entity concerned. Section 1090's goals include eliminating temptation, avoiding the appearance of impropriety, and assuring the public of the official's undivided and uncompromised allegiance. Furthermore, Section 1090 is intended not only to strike at actual impropriety, but also to strike at the appearance of impropriety. Courts have recognized Section 1090's prohibition must be broadly construed and strictly enforced. One of the one reason why Government Code 1090 is such an important law affecting cities is that if there is a disqualifying conflict of interest, it can preclude otherwise desirable or necessary contracts where cities are prohibited from entering into such contracts, regardless of whether the official participates in or abstains from the actual decision. Willful violations of 1090 may be punished as a felony, and conviction can include prison sentence, disgorgement of anything received, and a lifetime bar from holding office in the state of California. So I just wanted to give a quick sort of brief summary on sort of the variety of laws that already impact the city that I think are sort of the foundation of this policy of which it's sort of built off on. And with that, I'd refer it to Isaiah to sort of touch on the policy generally.
Thank you, Colin. So what the policy does is kind of taking those principles that we just went over in the guidance that was reviewed as well. Essentially, this policy would, at a very broad level, review what and when a council member kind of within their business, how often the city can interact with them. So it's not putting any conditions on a private business. It's simply saying what the city is going to do. And so what the city is going to do is if a council member's business is doing business with, which is a reasonably foreseeable financial interest with somebody that we are about ready to do business with or receive city funds, the city is going to voluntarily elect to not move forward with that. Now, one of the important distinctions when we get into ethical policies like this one is, there are very clearly illegal acts. And then when you get into maybe not illegal, but you start talking about the perception of what's going on, that's typically when you get into the ethical area of the situation. And so what this policy would do is each vendor, before they're set up in our payment system, would be required to fill out a certification if they're doing business with any council member's business or not. If the answer to that is yes, then this policy would say the city doesn't move forward any further and they don't get any city funds. Obviously, if we're talking about governmental entities or necessary by law, right, it's not intended to cover those type of situations. So to give just, a few examples of distinguishing between, kind of illegal acts, and then when you get into the ethical ones, obviously when you're talking about ethical dilemmas, there's a wide range of things that can go on. So generally, ethical laws say, hey, just don't go there, right? And it's based on perception, not an actual illegal occurrence. So if, the city were to do business directly with a council member's business, that obviously would be an illegal act. If a council member's business benefits indirectly through a third party and somehow those funds flow from Company X, from the city to Company X over to the council member's business, and there's a direct connection to that, that also would be an illegal act. But not every situation is an illegal act, right? You could have a situation where the city is doing business with Company X and totally unrelated to the city's business, Company X also does business with a council member's business. This is when we get into the ethical perception of that occurrence. Legally, nothing wrong with that. Ethically, you would want to consider the perception of that relationship because, frankly, being in the fiduciary capacity that you guys are in, it'd be very easy for the perception of somebody in the public to say, well, of course Company X got that contract. They're paying a council member's business. So of course they got the city contract. That is the ethical rules. So not every situation where there's maybe an involvement or potential involvement is an illegal act. And that's not what the policy or our ethical standards are trying to say. But when we act in our fiduciary capacity, you do have to consider the perception of what is going on. The policy also says that if the city is already doing business with Company X, a council member's business should not go to that company and solicit business for their private business. Now, again, many different situations, but just to make it very simple, right? If an elected official knows that the city is doing business with Company X and they go to that business privately and say, give me money or else I'm going to cancel your contract, that's an illegal act, right? Very clearly obvious. However, that doesn't always exist. It could be completely innocent and there's no element of an illegal act. However, you still deal with an ethical dilemma of what is the perception of that company involved when they're potentially considering that this is a council member and they do business with the city, even when no threats or anything are present. So the policy isn't intended to say everything is an illegal act or we fear that everything is a 1090 violation. However, the policy does closely mirror the guidance where whether it's from the California League of Cities or the FPPC, very clearly when you see them say it's intended even to remove the temptation or the perception of it, as government, being in the fiduciary capacity that you guys are, that's when you begin to run into the ethical side of it. And so from a policy nature, the council can either implement an ethical policy like this one or not. Ultimately, you're still subject to law and the perception of what is happening. And so when it comes to this policy, I just want to be very clear, it's on what the city will do, not what two private parties are doing. It's strictly with what we're going to do with city funds. And ultimately, the discretion of ethical policy like this one is something that only the council can consider the merits of. With that, that concludes my presentation, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you to the city attorney and to the city manager. We will now go to public comments on this agenda item. Christy, would you please handle public comments?
Thank you. I received one speaker card from Brad Anderson.
Thank you again, Brad Anderson, City of Rancho Mirage. I'm all in favor of this. This is something that is common sense and should have been, I'm sure it is, already followed by most council members. Anyway, I'm kidding, I'm joking. But this goes for staff, this goes for any city employee. Years ago, when I started with the state of California, there was an issue with people taking money off a credit card to pay a tip. And that's unethical. And even on, I don't think the city does it, but other special districts do it. They take taxpayer funds and pay tips. And that's not their place to do that. So this type of arrangement, if it's disclosed when it does happen, it'd be great. Hopefully it doesn't get swept under the rug and just, because this is common sense. This is something that everybody should be doing anyway. So I applaud you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
That was the only speaker card. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this item? That was the only speaker.
Okay, it is now time for council member comments. Who would like to comment on this item?
I would like to comment.
Councilmember Marker.
Thank you. It is my opinion this resolution 2024 is bad for the city and a misguided attempt to keep successful business people from sitting on the city council. Let me give an example of how this proposed resolution in practice would work. Assume, for example, that a city needed solar panels and took bids from solar companies that were in the tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. If a Rancho Mirage resident owned a solar company and was sitting on the council, under this resolution, such member could not offer to do the work at cost, even if it would save the city tens or possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars. Needless to say, as an over 30-year resident of Rancho Mirage, I cannot and will not sit idly by and allow this types of small-minded behavior relegate our great city to second-class status. Protection from councilpersons acting in their own self-interest are already in place. The Fair Practice Political Commission currently has jurisdiction over conflicts of interest, and if there is a conflict, the council person is required to recuse themselves from voting. It's my opinion that this new resolution is designed to keep tired old men on the city council and prevent any successful business person from sitting on this council. Such actions are vindictive, punitive, and likely unconstitutional. No other city in the Coachella Valley has anything like this, or most likely in the United States of America. And it's for good reason. They want the best and the brightest, regardless of age, sex, or social status. I love the city and have done my best to do what is right for the city of Rancho Mirage. Therefore, as my last act on this city council, I am going on the record to speak out about this deplorable conduct. And in protest of this, I am making this statement on the record so that those who are responsible for this decision can be held accountable, not only by the voters, but a court of law, and I am resigning my position this day. To my constituents, it has been an honor to serve you, and one I do not give up lightly. You are my neighbors, my friends, and the very reason for this service.
Does that conclude your comments? I assume that it does. Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, Councilmember Marker. Before I ask for other comments about this issue, I am going to read something from the narrative from the FPPC. It has to do with something that Councilmember Marker, or former Councilmember Marker, I should say, just suggested when she related this solar panel idea that it might be in the best interest of the city. Here's what it says. Officials are deemed to have a financial interest in a contract, even if they might profit from it in any way. And it goes on to say that even if it is of benefit to the city, the contract still cannot be entered into. No matter how much good it might do to the city, the contract can't be entered into. That's what the narrative from the FPP says. So that's my response to Councilmember Marker's example. Now, any other council members have any comment about this issue? Councilmember Mulatto.
One, I'm not an old man. And I don't mean to make light of this, but I am a working professional. This policy really is not new, and it is for every single member of the city council. By the way, government employees are bound by the same rules as well. Government Code 1090 was introduced in 1970, and though it's broadly interpreted, it does cover most officials. It's an accepted tenet of government tradition for public officials, and I must respectfully disagree with my colleague, Councilmember Marker. There are other municipalities, other government agencies, there are tribal entities that have the same policy. Similar policies or the same that we're going to be talking about today. While leading as public officials, we must also be stewards of public resources. And we must, as a result of that, be holders of the public trust. For this reason, public officials are held to the highest standards of ethical conduct. I'm going to repeat what the city attorney alluded to. This is from Section 1090 from the Fair Political Practices Commission, also FPPC. I did a little bit of homework on this when the agenda came out. Section 1090's prohibition is designed to apply in any situation that would prevent the officials involved from exercising absolute loyalty and undivided allegiance to the best interests of the city of Rancho Mirage and its constituents. Our constituents, and some of them are business owners, are our highest priority. Section 1090's goals include eliminating temptation, avoiding the appearance of impropriety, and assuring the public of the officials' undivided and uncompromised allegiance. This is also in our ethics training that we have to take and be certified in. While this is broadly interpreted, the FPPC strictly enforces this policy, while an act that may or not be unlawful, as the city manager had said, can be interpreted as unethical. It is a lack of ethical conduct that loses the public trust. And the public trust is the most coveted treasure that any public agency can have, whether it's community, regional, county, state, whatever the entity. There are two basic ethical principles. Government officials serve all citizens equally without regard to status or wealth, and do so without bias or personal gain. This is Government 101. This is what we learn as city employees. This is what we learn as city officials. This is what we're educated on as we come into government offices. The policy that we're talking about today that's being introduced, yes, it goes above and beyond what the law states, because it's not necessarily the law that's, if you break the law, that's the travesty. It's the ethical component to it. This policy does mirror the 1990 law, the 1090 law in ethics. Ethics has a superior place and priority over the law. When it comes to an ethical issue, we as a body should take the highest road possible. This is the highest of expectations as it relates to goals and objectives of the public. The slightest hint of impropriety jeopardizes public trust. Think of the occasions that have happened through history where there's been a loss of public trust. Once you lose it, you can't get it back. There were some good examples that were shared by the city manager today, and some that are similar to what I have. An elected official, and for our purposes, council members, or even city employees cannot accept monies or consideration from the city. An elected official, council member's business cannot accept monies from the city. And also, you cannot have a third party where maybe somebody gets a referral on the back end for a transaction that had occurred. What this policy is doing today for our discussion purposes, as I mentioned, is for each and every member of this governing body. It protects the city. It protects this governing body as a city council. Most importantly, it protects and upholds the allegiance we pledged when we took our oaths to our constituents, some of which are Rancho Mirage business owners or vendors. We have an allegiance to them as well. One last thought, and this is basic common sense. Brad Anderson, you hit the nail on the head. We're public servants. And I'd also like for people to consider if they're going to enter into public office or run for an elected office, if you go in with the thought process of enhancing or expanding your profile, your exposure, financially enhancing your business or yourself, this is a violation of the law. Closing comment. We are public servants. And with that, Mr. Mayor, unless there's any other comments from my colleagues.
No, there will be. I'll get back to you on making the motion. So, Council Member O'Keefe or Mayor Pro Tem Weil, comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a photo of in my office of me being sworn in as a council member, and the caption is what I said that day. I pledged to do my fiduciary duty and always place the interests of the city of Rancho Mirage above any other personal or private agenda. I'm proud to say that I've kept that pledge every single day since I've been in office. I don't think anyone up here wants to be accused of having a conflict of interest. We don't want to be accused of even having the appearance of a conflict of interest. This proposal today is based on existing law. If you break that law, there's times where you get severe penalties. This, as Councilmember Mulatto said, it protects the city, it protects each council member, and more important, it protects the taxpayer dollars by eliminating any doubt about how city finances are being handled. So to me, this proposal is straightforward and unemotional and easy to understand. I can't imagine why there's any opposition to it, so I support this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember O'Keefe. I'm sorry, thank you, Councilmember O'Keefe. Ted, do you have anything?
I'll merely make this comment that the key phrase, in my opinion, is appearance. If there's even an appearance of impropriety, then walk away from it, then don't do it. Appearances are damning, and therefore I think the summation of Councilmember Mulatto and Councilmember O'Keefe summarized it along with the city manager, that we are in a fiduciary position here, and it is critical that we maintain a separation. And therefore, this particular policy has to be implemented for the benefit and protection of our city, our citizens, and our council. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I will have a couple things I want to say, but I think that the city manager has a couple things he'd like to say first.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. So, you know, Government Code 1090, when you violate that, there are some severe consequences. So the example given by Councilmember Marker of a council member owning a solar business and the assumption that the city could do business with them if they got a good deal. You can't. You don't need this policy. That's the law. That would be an illegal act. 1090 says that you just can't do it, even when the council member with the conflict recuses themselves and removes themselves. The remaining council members that don't have conflicts are prohibited from entering into a contract like that. So, you know, some of these things in my example of me trying to say some of it's illegal and you don't need a policy for things that are illegal, but in no way, shape, or form could the city do business with a council member's business, even if it's a good deal. Even if you needed it, you couldn't do it. So that example really kind of doesn't have anything to do with the policy. That's just law preventing that. Now, obviously, you know, the point of the law and the point of ethics is, you know, very simple assurances to the public, right? Hey, when elected officials are making decisions, they're doing that in your best interest and not their businesses, right? When we're using taxpayer funds, a council member's business is not benefiting. When we're doing business with somebody, a council member isn't going after that business to also do business with them to leverage their position as a council member. So these are pretty simple reassurances, which is why the guidance is put together this way. So, but the example given, you wouldn't need a policy for that. You can't do, we as a city can't do business with a council member's business. That's just an illegal act. You can't do it.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. All right, I've got a couple of thoughts as well. My first thought is, wow, what a little bit of drama. We had somebody just walk off of this dais and out the door today. So the first thought that I have is we're going to have to do something about that. We now have a vacancy on this city council, and so we're going to have to sort out how we're going to fill it. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to establish a subcommittee.
That's not on the agenda.
Oh, it's not on the agenda. I apologize. I can't do that. Here's what I will do. I will direct the city clerk to make sure that you put on the next agenda a way in which we will deal with this vacancy on the city council. Thank you for advising me that I can't do that until the next city council meeting. Okay, a couple of things, couple of thoughts that I have is first, this is not bad for business, not at all. This is good for business. What this does is it makes sure that the businesses in this city are in compliance with the laws in the state of California. And my guess is that probably just about every member of the Chamber of Commerce and every business person in this city believes that this is good for business. People in this city want to do business with companies that they trust, that they feel comfortable with, that they believe behave in an ethical way, that they believe comply with the law. And that's what this does. It makes sure that every business in this city complies with Section 1090. Now, there is an issue that Council Member Marker, I think, was concerned with, her suggestion that Company A does business with Company B, and then Company B does business with the city, then why should we engage ourselves? Why should we be concerned with Company A, the council member's business, doing business with Company B, when the city also does business with Company B? Well, it obviously allows for the possibility of a conflict of interest, and it is the case that the FPPC has, in fact, opined on that. It has opined on that to a council member in this city. It opined on it to Council Member Marker, and I have the letter that I will read from. So the question is, first, some background. In early 2023, in this chamber, we had a study session on how we would handle events in honor of the city's 50th anniversary. And Council Member Marker suggested that the city hire a concert consultant to conduct a series of concerts in honor of the city's 50th anniversary. Well, it turns out that that concert consultant was someone who had a program that appeared on one of Council Member Marker's radio stations. And so she proposed that the city hire that concert consultant, but we couldn't do it. And the FPPC opined, and let me read from this opinion letter. The questions. First question, is Council Member Marker prohibited from participating in decisions regarding the City of Rancho Mirage decision to hire a council producer who is also the host of a syndicated radio show carried on one of the radio stations owned by Marker Broadcasting, of which Council Member Marker is a co-owner? And the second question, is the city prohibited from entering the contract? Here are the conclusions from the FPPC. Conclusion number one is yes. Under Section 1090, Council Member Marker has a prohibitive financial interest in the concert producer due to her business's ongoing business relationship and interest in income received by the radio station resulting from the continued success of the concert producer as a radio host on Council Member Marker's radio station. No exception applies that would allow her participation. And the answer to question number two, and the key is question number two, is the city prohibited from entering the contract? Here's the answer. Based on the facts presented, no exception would allow the city to make this contract. Accordingly, the city is prohibited from entering the contract. I think there is a clear reason why Council Member Marker just resigned and left this chamber. May I have a motion, Council Member Mulatto?
As a person who's in business, I think this policy is a good policy for the city. I need this. I need the action item. Thank you. that the City Council, I'd like to make the motion that the City Council adopt Resolution 2024 next in order, establishing regulations prohibiting the city from entering into contracts where a city council member has a conflict of interest.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Would the four of us please vote?
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Christie. Okay, we will now move on to action calendar agenda item number 8, and the subject is economic development study. And we do not have Ryan Stendell in attendance today, so I think that the city manager, Isaiah Hagerman, will deliver the staff report.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The Assistant City Manager, Ryan Stendell, he sits on the TAC committee with VGPS on their economic development arm. Mr. Stendell and I had a lengthy meeting some weeks ago with Council Member Marker about each one of these topics, where we discussed in great detail not only what's in the staff report, but much more over this hour-and-a-half period. And so our advice at that time is going to be consistent with what I present today. So at our last meeting, Councilmember Marker requested that this item be on the agenda. And so, in her suggestion for economic development study, she wanted to look at revitalizing the River and Rancho Las Palmas Shopping Center, creating a Rancho Mirage Design District, which we heard today, and exploring the highest and best use for the remaining vacant lands within the city, including land acquisitions. So over the course of this discussion between Ryan and I and Councilmember Marker and her husband, we got into each one of these topics. And when you say economic development, sometimes, that's a pretty broad term. But when we got in the context of a study, right, doing things to say, hey, what are your rules? What types of businesses are we going after now? Those sort of things. What strategies do we deploy? How do we get people to locate Rancho Mirage or the Coachella Valley? All those things kind of start to come into play with this. And then there's other things like kind of this list. You could get very pinpointed for, hey, in addition to this broad scale of stuff that we're going to do, let's also take a look at this target issue. Let's take a look at this target issue. And so through this meeting, obviously the biggest factor in our staff recommendation, which is to wait for the regional VGPS study to finish, is the assistant city manager and working with them. If we could, don't get me wrong, we could jump ahead of their study. But one of the great developments recently is VGPS has historically and to this day does a great job with marketing the valley as a whole on tourism. And so their role in that aspect on tourism is kind of similar to the one they're taking with economic development. So on tourism, they're kind of using that roadmap because it's been successful, and they're applying it to economic development. And on the tourism side, what they do is they grab people's attention, right? The big business, they go to our feeder markets, and they kind of really grab people to say, hey, here's the Coachella Valley and what a wonderful place it is, right? And then it's up to each city to divvy up that market share, right? So once they get the attention of the Coachella Valley, then your cities take over and say, pick me, this is why, right? This is what we offer. So when you apply kind of that concept to economic development, part of their role is going to be obviously looking at the valley as a whole and working with each city and taking inventories. And an easy example is if they identify an industrial use, obviously we don't have any industrial zone in Rancho Mirage. So they won't be coming to Rancho Mirage. So there's going to be some elements of a regional study that don't apply to our city. However, kind of what staff has said is, hey, we think doing an economic development study is a good idea. I think that there's elements of this list that I don't think are realistic or should be one of our goals. So the example that we provided in this meeting was to revitalize Restaurant Row. And really, in our opinion, standalone restaurants are fading away. And that dynamic has to do with parameters that are much larger than the city. Now, that doesn't say that our restaurants aren't important, but I think that's a very tough thing to accomplish, to say, how do I go get standalone restaurants again? The market and the dynamics of your brick and mortars, are very tough for your standalone. What is successful today is this destination, right? When people are going there for various reasons, it almost used to be like what the river was in its heyday, or what the mall used to be. But to revitalize and bring in standalone restaurants, after this discussion, we said, hey, that would be a tough one, right? And if you get in the realm of subsidizing by city dollars, restaurants, that just begins to be a very tough conversation of how much is appropriate, and how, then every restaurant is going to be like, well, I'm already here, you're not helping me. So we had this discussion about some elements of this, but generally we said, hey, we think, some sort of study and a re-looking at Highway 111 corridor specific plans is a great idea, right? But just not right now, right? Because let us go do the regional study and let us fit within that study, right? And then you come in and you pull the elements from that, because again, VGPS is going to be out there saying, hey, come look at the Coachella Valley based on these industries that we want to attract. Not every industry is going to be applicable to Rancho Mirage like the industrial. So we just, ultimately, what the staff report describes is we just feel like jumping ahead of the regional study would kind of be a mistake to not be able to tie in the local study with the regional one, knowing that you're going to pick elements from that regional study, because everything won't be applicable. And then, of course, there will be some other things that we're studying that kind of are very specific to Rancho Mirage, right? So obviously, as we've all seen, sticking with the Highway 111 corridor, right, there was a time in this city's history where that was highly protected for retail and restaurants. And what you've seen over the years is, as consumer habits have changed, as market factors have changed, that wasn't happening. We saw a Mimi's get converted to a law office. We saw Johnny Rockets get converted to a medical use. Not too long ago, through the dissolution of the RDAs, they held a piece of property on Highway 111. And so we didn't need it for a governmental purpose, so the rule at the time was sell it. So we sold it, and there was a covenant on the property that said half of it can be for medical or office use, and the other half has to be a sales tax generating use. The half that was medical or office use was full and vibrant. The other half of the building was vacant. Finally, that property owner came to us, and there were a few other properties on Highway 111 that had similar conditions. And they said, please, it's just sitting empty, and it's not realistic for this type of business to come in, and you're just essentially going to leave the space vacant forever. And so what did the city do? We removed that requirement so that they could fill the space. Because at the end of the day, if we would have just held on to a time past of saying, nope, I only want a restaurant or retail, that would have stayed vacant. So a study has to be relevant with what we're doing today. And obviously there are some specific properties that are, you would spend some time and say, okay, as part of making this, pulling the regional down to the local level, of course you can incorporate some special areas in your city, Highway 111 being one of them. So ultimately, what staff is expressing is If the council wanted to move forward, could you do it? Yeah, you could do it, but it doesn't quite make sense at this point to not let this regional study play out. And frankly, the amount of time that we're going to wait is very short. So we think it's a better step to continue to work with VGPS on their study and then seek to incorporate that within a local study if the council desires. So the staff's recommendation is to basically take no action at this time and let us work through the regional studies.
Okay, thank you, Isaiah. And I will ask the city clerk to please handle agenda public comments on this item.
Thank you. I received one speaker card from Wayne Avershow.
Thank you, Wayne Avershow, Rancho Mirage resident. In the 1960s, there was a line, no one wanted to follow Jimi Hendrix. And after that last motion and last item, perhaps that shakes up the entire council. But in any event, Councilwoman Mulatto gave an impassioned, intelligent summary, so I commend you for that. On economic development, Mr. Hageman makes a very good point, an excellent point, to wait for the regional study. But I would suggest after the regional study that an economic development manager or someone of that caliber or title should be hired by the city of Rancho Mirage, should report to Mr. Hagerman. And I suggest that Mr. Hagerman and Councilwoman Mulatto, who has experience working in other cities, code compliance and business matters, be the logical council person to head that effort. So I agree with Mr. Hagerman, the city manager, we should wait, but I would not wait too long because 50% of our revenue comes from sales tax and bed tax. We all know that. We all can agree on that. And you don't want to be caught as economic cycles rise and fall, vacancies occur. But when we do look around at our city on 111 Lloyd Fletcher, Babes, and other locations, there seems to be a need for some stimulus, for some retention, for some assistance, for some attraction. It doesn't have to be a financial. It doesn't have to be a financial giveaway. It can be a zoning work, an expedited work on the permits, etc. So bottom line, wait for the study. Mr. Hageman said it'll be short. That's good news. But then after that, I would recommend the council hire an economic development manager to spur the effort to bring Rancho Mirage current, as other cities in the Coachella Valley have that title. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this issue? Okay, please step up and state your name.
Again, Mark Curran, and I currently serve as a commissioner on the Planning Committee. And I think you all know how I feel about economic development study. I appreciate that we are going to look at something and follow up with what's being done valley-wide. But we do need something specific for Rancho Mirage. And too many times, my company and I were brought in to turn communities and assets around. And it's very difficult once it reaches a certain level. And, I haven't lived here all my life. I've been here 3 years, but my husband and I moved here 3 years ago. And we were driving around and we drove through what I didn't know where we were at the time. And I said, where are we? And our broker said, Rancho Mirage. And I said, this is where I want to live. And now that I will not say retired, but stopped working in January. I want to spend full time supporting this community, so you'll be hearing a lot from me. But I do like seeing that we're moving forward with this, and I appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? That was the last speaker.
Okay, thank you, Christy. Council member comments, please. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Mayor. Having been in real estate development and real estate financing all of my life, I think that I have a pretty good handle in this area. I think our city is doing reasonably well. They use, for example, the Rancho Las Palmas Shopping Center as an example to look at revitalization. That's a shopping center that's 94% leased at the present time. There's always going to be some vacancies that occur. And yet, I think we do reasonably well at filling vacancies. The city manager has explained that VGPS is doing this study. It would be impractical for us to leap into any sort of a study before they completed their work. We can then take a look at that and see if there's any holes to fill and how it might pertain to our particular city. But for us to take any action prior to that time would be a mistake. So I merely endorse the fact that we should wait until the study is completed, take a look at it, then we can analyze our options. But we have an awful lot of resources available to us. We have a chamber that does an incredible job. We have again, VGPS does an excellent job. Between them, again, producing a great deal of revenue for our city, whether it be hotel tax or whether it be sales tax. So we're on the right track, we're doing the right thing, and now we'll look forward to that study being completed in just a few months. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember O'Keefe or Councilmember Mulatto, comments?
Just that if we were voting today, I would vote not yet.
Yeah, we are voting today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate everyone's comments and concerns about economic development. Please always remember, and we as a society sometimes have a short memory, we're post-COVID. So, you know, the way the retail and restaurant world works, they're retooling, they're rethinking what are the needs. I think the Visit Greater Palm Springs regional study will be of tremendous benefit to us, and then we can pluck where we have holes and try to fill those in. I too think it's prudent to wait.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. So I too believe that a good, solid roadmap for economic development is essential for the city. We should do it, and we should do it fairly soon. Now, here are the issues that I see with conducting the economic study, at least as of today. First is the timing issue, and second is a direction to a consultant that we hire. That is another issue. With respect to the timing issue, I am the member of this council that does serve on the Executive Committee for the Joint Powers Authority for Visit Greater Palm Springs, so I can provide a little information on where VGPS is in conducting their study. At this point, VGPS does anticipate that sometime in January, they probably will be prepared to release the study that their consultant is engaged in conducting right now. Now, that is a region-wide economic development study that will examine the strengths and weaknesses throughout the Coachella Valley and attempt to determine the kinds of industries and businesses that we would be wise to attempt to attract to this desert at some point in the future. And it will also contain city-specific issues that individual cities might wish to undertake in developing in engaging in economic development in each of the cities. So it is certainly clear to me that the wise thing to do is to wait until that study is concluded, and it looks like it will be concluded sometime in January, and shortly thereafter we can engage in a meaningful review of how we engage in economic development for the city of Rancho Mirage, and I think that's exactly what we should do. Now, with respect to the direction that we give to a consultant, I believe that it should be wide-ranging and open-ended. I believe that giving consultants a direction in advance to revitalize Restaurant Row, to revitalize the river and Rancho Las Palmas Shopping Center, and to create a design district, who knows? Those might be good things to do, but that is creating a self-fulfilling prophecy with a consultant. That's telling the consultant in advance what we want them to do. What we should do with a consultant is we should tell them to do a wide-ranging study on our city and determine what our strengths and weaknesses are. What kinds of industries and businesses should we attract, and then create a strategy to attract those kinds of businesses and industries to this desert, to this city. The kinds of ways in which we would attract them would be tax incentives, business incentives, initiatives to help them get started in business, and it also should contain a roadmap for us to determine the right revenue streams that we can derive to help make the city an even better place to live. So it should be a wide-ranging and open economic study. It should not contain a self-fulfilling prophecy that tells them ahead of time exactly what we want them to do. So I am in favor of an economic development study. I am in favor of delaying it until we see what happens with VGPS, and I'm in favor of making sure that we allow a consultant to engage in a wide-ranging study that will tell us what are the best industries for us to attack and what is the best way for us to go about it. Okay, I think we've talked this out. I will entertain a motion in a second.
I'll be happy to make that motion, Mr. Mayor, that the City Council take no action at this time and wait for the Visit Greater Palm Springs VGPS regional study to be completed.
And I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
While you're voting, I'd just like to note that CVB was a lot easier than VGPS.
Yes, it was.
Good old days.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, we have no public hearings today. The last item on our agenda is an action item. It is agenda item number 9. The subject is Rancho Mirage Shop Local Community e-gift card program. And to deliver the staff report is our Director of Marketing, Gabe Cotting. Gabe?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, guests, staff. Staff would like to introduce you to the concept of the Rancho Mirage Shop Local Community e-gift card program. This is currently a program that's being implemented by over 600 plus communities across the nation and 90 plus cities in California alone. This program is successfully incentivizing and designed to keep spending local. There's quite a bit of data and case study information in your staff report, so allow me to kind of review the key points. This program is run by a company named Yifty. They're a Bay Area-based company that created the Shop Community e-gift card program really as a way to help local businesses recover from COVID. However, the program has since become a very effective tool for keeping dollars local. How does it work? It operates as a 100% digital e-gift card program. The business network can be targeted to only include those businesses within the city of Rancho Mirage. Typically, you're going to have your locally owned mom and pop stores that are quickly, easy to sign up. Your bigger chains or corporately owned ones can sign up, but sometimes there's a lot more layers of approval. But it can be geofenced, so only, like, say, Hobby Lobby would only be the Rancho Mirage Hobby Lobby, not other Hobby Lobbies. The program is easy, fast, and effective with no cost to participating businesses or special equipment for point of sale. Yifty sends that business a code, they type it into their point of sale, they're good. It runs through the MasterCard over the MasterCard platform. So there's no extra equipment that they have to do. Yifty does all the business education. They handle all the quick response to redeem. It allows cities and organizers to fund direct investment into local businesses through reward and bonus programs, which we'll talk a little bit in a minute. The program is fully automated, secure, and turnkey and requires very little staff, time, and/or supervision. The Shop Local e-gift card is marketed to residents, visitors, and local companies to keep the program going. This is a year-round program that will allow cities to directly invest with local businesses, especially during slow parts of the year. This can be, think early fall, festival season, the summer. Rancho Mirage can activate a rewards or bonus period very easily throughout the year. This is a fully customizable program that with a branded card, web portal, and can be marketed by the city, the chamber, and all the participating businesses. One of the hallmarks of this program is the buy one, get one, or the BOGO rewards program that has been kind of the gold standard of launching this program. Our neighbor, Palm Springs, launched this program a little over a month ago and sold out in 2 weeks. More about their success in a minute. The investment multiplier allows the city to provide matching funds to those who support local businesses. There's limited risk as any unspent funds or unredeemed funds are recouped, and the bonus periods can be set to match slower business cycle periods. Many cities and chambers are using this as a dynamic economic development tool because of the free marketing and strategic support provided by Yifty and the direct investment opportunity directly to businesses and the turnkey execution of the program. Kind of the triple investment of what was talked about kind of works like this. A city would invest, would pick a bonus amount that they'd want to invest, and typically that would work at 50%. So for example, I buy a $100 gift card. This is how Palm Springs worked. If they had a 50% bonus, I get a $50 gift card in addition to my $100. I'm getting 50% bonus value of what I purchased. So in the scenario like this, city invests 50, consumers purchase 100 grand. You now have $150,000, 3 times the initial investment of spending power and e-gift card power within the community. That would be working from there. Program mentioned the program is very little risk to anything. The city would only pay the incentive. So if the city identified a bonus amount, what's recommended by IFTI when you launch or throughout the year, that would be the only cost to the city. Those monies go directly to the businesses through the e-gift card program. If anything is unredeemed, then that goes back, that gets recouped back to the city and would just go into a future benefit or a future incentive period. The consumer pays $1 per the consumer gift card and 5% of the value. So if they bought a $100 gift card, they'd pay $1 plus 5%, which would be $5. So they pay a total of $106. They receive the bonus card at no cost. And then there's no cost to a business to participate. An exciting case study that was outlined in the staff report was our neighbor Palm Springs. The city of Palm Springs launched the Love Local Palm Springs Community e-gift card program on August 11th. The program offered a buy one, get one bonus of 50% on the Palm Springs e-gift card. So for example, someone bought a $50 e-gift card, they got a $50 bonus for a total of $150. The city of Palm Springs approved allocating a total of $50,000 towards the launch of this program. This program was extremely successful and sold out of their $50,000 bonus in less than 2 weeks. In total, $150,000 worth of Love Local Palm Springs e-gift cards sold in 2 weeks. Approximately 90 local Palm Springs businesses signed up to participate. To date, over 70% and 60 plus out of the 90 businesses have reported a Love Local Palm Springs e-gift card redemption. Redemption across this platform leans heavily towards restaurants, all around about 60%, and then retail comes in at second at about 20 to 30%. However, in the incentive program is running during the holiday season, retail tends to spike pretty significantly. EFT had mentioned that certain businesses who take the time to market to their audiences have shown significant redemption. For example, Pilates studios, fitness studios, spa and nail salons. So this isn't just restricted to restaurants, even though restaurants represents kind of the highest redemption. Staff uses the program like this as a valuable tool for local businesses, especially the city's local restaurants. At the council's approval and guidance, previous programs were very well received and executed. I want to highlight a couple as we were emerging through COVID. 2 weeks after the first local COVID case was announced, the city deployed the Food Access Program grant to urge businesses to take to-go orders and provide food staples that were low supply at grocery stores. 40 locally owned businesses received $286,000 in support. In addition, the Great Plates program operated for 14 months and generated nearly 400,000 meals and funded locally owned restaurants with $8.4 million in support. The city had some very meaningful programs in the past, and this can be built upon. And lastly was our small business grant that had 54 locally owned businesses apply for close to $350,000 in support. The Rancho Mirage Shop Local e-gift card program would be a year-round program available for purchase. The incentive period could be implemented and tracked at any time. Staff also discussed the program with Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce CEO Katie Stice. She was very excited for a program that could really exemplify and emphasize their local programs of Shop Local and Keep the Cheer Here. The Chamber of Commerce and city staff feel this program could drive more direct impact on those times of year where local businesses tend to struggle. The Palm Springs case study demonstrates that the model is working, the community is responding. Rancho Mirage has an opportunity to implement this program and build on the strong partnership enjoys with the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce and our locally owned Rancho Mirage-based businesses. Staff recommends that the City Council contract with the IFTI on the implementation of the Rancho Mirage Shop Local e-gift card program. The city would work with the IFD and the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce on signing up local Rancho Mirage-based residents and would be ready to launch in October. And the staff is recommending that the program be kicked off with a $50,000 bonus incentive budget to kick off this program. So that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Gabe. Would the city clerk please handle public comment on this agenda item?
Certainly. The first speaker is Brad Anderson.
Thank you again, Brad Anderson, City of Rancho Mirage. I'm kind of concerned about this. You brought up other city programs that you implemented after that virus event. And I know country clubs that received, I think, $8,000 at that time that weren't even open. And there's another aspect to that, but I'm worried about the city operating this type of program. I see no reason why the city should do this. The Chamber of Commerce can do it. I think it's too complicated. It cashes out, apparently. You have to use a MasterCard, apparently, or that type of system. And then there's fees involved, too, to the consumer that purchases the card. I understand maybe Palm Springs did start out. Probably some businesses, there's a great asset, but other businesses won't benefit at all probably from this. I think if the city wants to promote something like this, I would recommend taking your $50,000 at this point and just dividing it among the businesses in the city of Rancho Mirage. I used to be strictly buying Rancho Mirage except automobiles. I can't afford anything in the city, but the city can. But anyway, I'm not in favor of this as it is now. I think this is a unique program for people that have the not means, but the aspect of using that technology. I wouldn't even consider using this type of program myself, but I'm probably unique in that matter, and hopefully you will. I guess benefit the city, but I don't think this is the right avenue. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie Stice.
Thank you, Mayor Downs, council members, city staff, and guests here today. My name is Katie Stice, CEO of the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce, with words of great appreciation regarding the YIFTI e-gift card program. The city has always been on point when it comes to programs, incentives, and economic development leadership and support. From the remarkable Great Plates program to the Food Access program to Taste of Summer, Rancho Mirage partnerships, and so much more. This program ties in with the Chamber's current campaign, Move Small Business Forward, and we will bring back the famous Keep the Cheer Here messaging for the holidays. It's a reminder to us all, residents, businesses, and visitors, to keep the cheer here by keeping dollars local. The YIFTI program has proven success at some of our sister chambers and cities. Programs like these are welcome and appreciated on behalf of the area business community. The Chamber of Commerce is excited for this program and a strong, prosperous season ahead for a healthy and growing community. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Katie.
Yes, please step to the podium and state your name.
Wayne Avershow of Rancho Mirage. I think this is a great idea. I salute Mr. Cotting. I think Palm Springs, I'm somewhat familiar with how that worked, and I think a big success. I think Mr. Cotting can elaborate on it, but I also think the success is not only, it's shopping local, which we all want to do. Shop local, stimulate local businesses. We all should want that. So that local business, what I talked about a moment ago, retaining, assisting, attracting businesses. And if they're here, let's retain them. And how can we retain them is to help our local residents shop here. So it's a great idea. It could reverberate, and I think Mr. Cotting can even elaborate on this. It could reverberate that somebody goes to a shop or store in Rancho Mirage they never went to, they enjoy it, and they go back a month later without the gift card. So I think this is a very good investment, and I urge the council to take it up. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on this? Okay, please step up and state your name.
I have a lot to say today. Again, Mark Curran, and I serve on the planning committee, but I think it's a great program. And, you know, I worked in the shopping center industry for over 30 years. And I remember people trying to get rid of our programs, but it did keep our consumers shopping in our shopping centers. And again, it does sound a little complicated to some people, but it's really a very easy process, and it was always easy for us to manage. So I think this is a great thing for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Are there any other speakers? That was the last speaker.
Thank you, Christy. Council comments?
I think it's terrific, and the timing couldn't be better, especially as the holidays are approaching.
Likewise, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry?
I say likewise. I endorse it fully.
As someone who worked in retail for more than 25 years, any incentive like this is very helpful. So it's a good idea.
Great. And I take to heart the comments from the president of our Chamber of Commerce that this is a good thing for the business community in this city. Thank you, Gabe, for your staff report. I'm in favor of voting yes on this item. May I have a motion and a second, please?
I'd be happy to make the motion that the City Council direct the city staff to implement a Shop Local Community e-gift card program with a $50,000 bonus incentive budget and related agreements approved as to form by the city attorney.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, we just spent $50,000 in support of the business community in this city, and I'm very happy that we did that. Okay, we are about to close the public part of this agenda. It has been a pretty interesting meeting today. So let's see if we can keep the drama down in the next few council meetings. Okay, we are going to recess in a moment and move into closed session, but I will first ask the city attorney to tell us what we will be talking about in closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll be convening into closed session for the two items before you on the agenda, with the first being conference with legal counsel, potential initial of litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, one potential case, and the second item being conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6A, designated city labor negotiator Isaiah Hagerman, the city manager, and the employee organization, the Rancho Mirage Employees Association.
Thank you, Colin. We are in recess. I will call this meeting back to order, and I will ask the city attorney to please report out on closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. No reportable action today.
Thank you, Colin. This meeting is adjourned.